Well, it's time to start another BTS vlog. That's right, it's, let's see, give you a time and date stamp. It is 17 hours and 19 minutes into the day of Thursday, February 6, 2014. And we're starting the vlog. This is the first segment for the vlog that goes from February 6th to February 8th. And we're continuing on our theme, looking at scholarly fantasy and the Illuminati puzzle. But they do go together because a lot of people don't necessarily understand that they are actually intertwined. These are things that are sort of related to each other. There's a relationship between the Illuminati and universities. And in many cases, what you learn at universities as well. So let's begin, though, with an understanding of the BTS vlogs, because I do have to come back and do this every so often because there are new viewers. The BTS vlogs is a behind-the-scenes look at my life here, but it's also a behind-the-scenes everything. So as this channel develops, as the science develops, you get to see behind the scenes, and that's why I've brought in the ad hoc notes into BTS vlogs. I brought them in because they show the development of the Insta vlogs, which are the more organized notebooks. But the thing, what it's also going to show as well is that from the Insta vlogs, we're going to move into something known as Doc Zone. The Doc Zone is the documentaries, are going to be the documentaries, but there's going to be several types of documentaries. The one that's going to come up next is going to be Doc Zone Rough Draft, and then that means it's going to be the first draft of what I put out. And I'm hoping to get to that with the Girls on YouTube anniversary documentary. I've got it more or less scheduled out. It's going to be about 110 minutes in terms of the production notes. It runs about 110 minutes in length. I've got good content coming into it. You'll see some of the content now, what I'm talking about, because a lot of the stuff that I'm going to present in this video, in this BTS vlog, actually came out of the YouTube searches. So this is a YouTube result. And the thing is, so you'll be able to you're actually going to be able to hear it because I'm going to continue on with the theme in music, because music does connect in history. And I told you, as I said before, you have ancient, we call pan-national cultures. These are the Greeks, the Hebrews, or the Hebrews and the Chinese, and these cultures spread geographically throughout entire regions. And so what happens is that you can use these cultures, if you know how to sort of pick through them, to sort of figure out what happened in history. In other words, you can build a picture of history by looking at the anthropology of these particular societies. Furthermore, once you understand and start looking at and using the anthropology as a tool to understand the history of societies, to piece together the history of society, you can then go ahead and apply that anthropology, that research, to modern history, to current history that's being developed now, to see how the current anthropology, the current societal developments, the current cultural developments, compared to the older cultural developments. In other words, you can compare the ancient history with the modern history, or the current history, and you can sort of you can build a very good picture of what we call full anthropology, not just ancient anthropology or modern anthropology, but you can bring it all together. I mean, this is what Margaret Mead and all these people were supposedly trying to do, is trying to understand how human beings evolve. Well, it's not up to you, or if you're going to be an objective observer, it's not up to you to decide how we evolve. It's up to you, if you're going out to do this research, to be open, objective, to not go in with preconceived ideas and let the environment teach you what it needs to teach you. And that's what I'm saying. So this is real research. This is raw research. And you'll see this stuff develop here as it goes along. So I was talking about some music and how you can compare music to each other. What I'm going to do is there are certain things known as dances. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect dances. I'll play 3 or 4 different dance tunes. You can hear them. And just play segments of them. And I'm going to tell you that you can hear the sound all the way from Turkey into North Africa. And right now I'm playing a particular musician known as Muhammad al-Bakr. I'm using him because even though he's Egyptian and North African, he studied in Damascus at the Syrian School of Music, or I should say the Damascus School of Music. And the Damascus School of Music is a very ancient school. So here we go. This is the first dance. So that's one. And here's the second. Here is the third. Here's the fourth. And when I come back, we're going to play the fifth, because our time is almost up. Okay, the timer has restarted, and now we're going to continue on with the songs. And the thing is, you can hear these songs all over the Middle East. You can hear it actually not only in the Middle East, you can hear it all the way from Turkey into North Africa. That's how far you can actually hear this music. It is very popular in terms of, it was popular. This is sort of, but it forms right now it forms the basis of a lot of the modern music. But beforehand, it spread all the way across the Middle East. But does not reflect Islam, because Islam doesn't have dance and doesn't have music. This is pre-Islam. As we continue on, you'll hear that the music has a commonality. This was used for belly dance music, but belly dancing is what remains. What was there before was something completely different. This all represents village dance music. What came out of it was belly dancing, but before then, it was village dance music. During the 70s and much into the 80s, and you'll see it in some of the TV shows surrounding African American, they start using the term Salam Alaikum. Salam Alaikum is a greeting used in the Middle East to greet each other. Now, initially, it was assumed it was African, but it's not necessarily African, because what a lot of people don't necessarily understand is that the cultures from Africa to the Middle East and into India have a commonality. They share cultures together, and so they intermixed, and this is the relationship between the two, between these cultures. And so here's a song, actually, about Salam Alaikum. Now, when you hear this song, Ya Salam Alaikum, what you need to understand is this song is old, it's ancient. This recording comes from the 1950s and prior. And this guy here learned this from schools that had ancient writings in them that go back pre-recorded history, not pre-recorded history, but pre-records, before they started recording things. And this is when, and I know this personally because I know there are people in my culture that when people come in from the streets, when they come into your house, they greet you with songs. They greet with songs of greeting. And it'd be much like this. And so what happens, you can imagine travelers coming into the camp, coming into the village, and being greeted by the musicians, and this song being sung. Salam Alaikum. You know, greetings, people, greetings. And you can hear how this music is actually very ancient. how you could because you actually have icons. These are church icons that go back, and the church icons from the Byzantine Empire go back thousands of years, a couple thousand years, and they have icons of Abraham meeting strangers known as Philoxenia, and you can imagine the greetings that strangers got, even that came into your camp, that came into your world, came into your life. They were greeted royally. And so what happens here is that you can use YouTube, because this is done on YouTube, and I will be doing more on YouTube with this. You can use YouTube as a real research tool, and you can really start picking up the anthropology. You can start picking up the archaeology. You can use it to enhance whatever you're doing. Anyways, we've taken up 2 segments, so I'll come back in the next segment, and we'll talk more about this and how it connects to the Illuminati. Alrighty, it's time for the 3rd segment of the BTS vlogs for February 6th to February 8th. I'm finally getting things organized, and I've got the date in front of me so I can read it. It's been a bit of a rough day today, or well, 2 days anyways. Usually when things happen, I get knocked out for a couple of days. And a variety of things can happen. It just... It is a chore. It is difficult to keep going 7 days a week, 12 hours of studying a day. It is a difficult thing to do that, and that's why in some cases I have a hard time vlogging. But it seems that the new efficiency model that I'm working on, that's working to improve, seems to be working on it, because even when I'm down for, and I was only down for like between 10 and 12 hours. That's my shortest period being down. It was between 10 and 12 hours. I'm still able to sort of move things on. So, anyways, I'm going to give you the date and time, the time and date stamp, because that's what you need in a vlog. This is our in our captain's vlog. It's we need to have our start date, and it's okay. It's let's see here. It's 21 hours, 13 minutes into the day of Friday, February 7th, 2014. And that means we're on schedule. And I was going to continue on with the Illuminati discussion, but I'll leave that for next segment, because I promised that when I got a package, I'd open it on the air. So let's do that. I got a package today, and so I'm going to open it. Let's see here. Packed up really nice and tight. So let's see if I can figure out how to open this thing here. Here's one piece of tape. Well, I'm going to open it and I'll come back. Alright, I'm back. I got the box open. It took me all this time to get the box open, but I did get it open. Let's see what we have here. We have... Oh, this is the Raspberry Pi that came in. These are the Raspberry Pis that came in. Cool. Let's see what we got. How many do we have here? I think I'm going to have to work on the box a little bit more to get things out of here better. Cut the box down like this. This means that our next set of adventures will take us to the electronics bench. What has to happen is, and this is basically the way research works, is that you start off with an idea, and then from the idea you work through the concept, and the proof of concept. And the proof of concept is not necessarily the finished product. It's simply a setup that demonstrates that something that you want to do is possible. Let's see here. I have one. Oh, there's more to come, apparently. Okay, it came with everything, but I ordered 3 and only 1 came. So we'll see what happens. 1 has come, but I've ordered 3, and it's a full Raspberry Pi. It's got all the different components that it needs to be in there. So there's 2 more on the way. And then with the Arduino, that makes 3 components. So everything. 4 components, because I have 3 Raspberry Pis and 3 Raspberry Pis and 1 Arduino, and that means our electronics bench is now scheduled to begin to be worked on. So let's just put this back here, back to the electronics bench. So I put that on the electronics bench to be organized. And yeah, but going from theory, from research to an actual result means you have to go from concept to reality. And in between, there's something known as the proof of concept. You take your idea that you have with standard equipment that you have around, and see, is it possible for this thing that you feel can be done to be done? If the answer is yes, then you move ahead with it. If the answer is no, then you don't move ahead with it. But I'm going to leave this short here for now, because I have something else to do. I'm going to leave this a little extra room so that we can talk about the Illuminati Puzzle again in our next segment, and finish up the discussion we have on music, because the music discussion and the Illuminati Puzzle actually are integrated. They're pieces of the same puzzle. Anyways, I'll talk to you in the next segment, probably in a couple hours. Alright, take it easy. I'm going to do this last segment very quickly. I'll get a time and date stamp. It is just about 9 hours in the day of Saturday, February 8th, 2014. And this is the end of the BTS vlog for this for Thursday and Friday for the 6th to the 8th. And it's going to be short here because I'm exhausted. This is as far as I can go. And basically this is it. I'm going to talk to you more tomorrow, actually in a couple hours when I get up again and come back and do this. Alright. Well, I stated this, that it was supposed to be, that was my last segment, but it's not the last segment. Well, it is, this is the last segment. I was going to end it early and just sort of, I wasn't feeling good. When you're this exhausted, it sometimes gets, and you push yourself this far, it gets painful. And I wasn't feeling good. I started not feeling good whereas I was doing this. So I had to stop, take a few minutes, collect my thoughts, and then come back again. So let's sort of finish this up properly. And while we were interrupted, our discussion on the Illuminati and in history by the Raspberry Pi unboxing, that was the last segment, the 3rd segment. We'll now continue with our discussion on the Illuminati Puzzle. Now, the thing is that the Illuminati Puzzle is not actually too complex of a puzzle to sort of put together. And in ways, in terms of its extent. The first thing you need to know is you go back and look at the history to find when the Illuminati began. And as you go back and to try to find the Illuminati, where they arise from in history, you have to sort of look at who they're associated with. And they're primarily associated with the aristocratic groups of Europe. And from there, if you understand that, you understand how they are related to the Masons, the Freemasons, I should say, and the Masons themselves. Because the Masons and all these other groups came from the Jesuits. They came out of the, came or evolved out of the Crusades in the early part of European history. That was basically between the Crusades began in 1066 I think 1060 began with the Battle of Hastings. The First Crusades were literally considered to be the invasion of England to destroy the non-Catholic Church there. There was a Christian church, the Eastern Christian Church in England. It had refused to follow Rome, and as such, in 1066, the papacy ordered the Normans to invade England and force the church there to become Catholic. And this was primarily the issue. The whole purpose of the Crusades was not, as some people stated, to free the Christian church in the Middle East from the Muslims, but rather to destroy the Eastern Church. It was there to destroy and seek revenge. Well, why the revenge? Why this revenge? Why this anger at the East? Well, the East stands in contradiction. If you understand the East properly, if you understand the Eastern Christian Church properly, stands in full contradiction of the papacy. It contradicts the papal position of vicar. As a matter of fact, it goes into, in a more detailed manner, describing the vicarage of Christ, the vicar of Christ, to be not Christ, but rather meeting the definition of Antichrist. So, in other words, when the Pope put on the mantle of vicar, he put the mantle of Antichrist on his shoulder. So he put on the Antichrist. And this is something that the papacy sought to control, and it did this through the Jesuits. It set up the schools and all these different schools of theology, so that they could educate certain people, particularly the priests, and then keep these enforced rules. And one of the things that they did during the Crusades is people were talking about the Library of Alexandria and how it disappeared. Well, it didn't really disappear. The Library of Alexandria was one of many libraries. And what the papacy had done is gone in, and this is why it has a lot of ancient manuscripts. The papacy had gone in and literally destroyed library after library that had the ancient Christian manuscripts in them. And anything that had to do with what it considered to be anti-Roman Catholicism. The irony is, as the Crusades pushed the Byzantine Empire, the remains of the Roman Empire, into collapse, and the Muslims came into areas of Syria and eventually Greece. What ended up happening is this is where you have the Italian Renaissance, because the Italian Renaissance occurred as Greeks who were in the Pisan area, the Sicilian area, had their relatives from Greece start coming over more and more. And as they came over, they brought their books and libraries with them. The Greeks had books and libraries, just the way the Arabs did not. The Arabs, the Christians in the Middle East had their libraries with them. And it was through these scholars, through both as they came into Spain and into Italy, that the European Renaissance began. But it was also during these periods, as these texts came in, that you had these secret societies, these Jesuits, that emerged from the Jesuits, that emerged from the Crusades, from the Teutonic Knights. And this is why with Masonic orders, you'll see the Knights of Columbus, you'll see the Knights of this, and the Knights of Malta, and you'll see these symbologies throughout a large chunk of the so-called Illuminati world, because they're all interrelated. They're all these different groups. And so this is the sort of, if you want to call it, this is the edge of the puzzle here. What we're doing is defining the edge of the puzzle. And I'll go into it in the next BTS vlog. I'll go into a little bit more. And sorry, my eyes are not open. I can't keep my eyes open. I'll go into in the next vlogs, the next BTS vlog. I'll go into how we're going to fill in the center, complete the puzzle. Anyways, good night.
this is it for what I have in terms of energy, and I will see you later.
Welcome to the library, and I am the librarian. I am the professor. And professor of what? Professor of physics.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light?
Free speech rules here at Democratic Earth.